board. And obviously this is going to go onto YouTube, but it won't be listed for anyone to see, but it will be listed on my website for afterwards. So as per the conversation we had on the first week of whatever this month is, July, we searched through the grids, particularly through the Hawaii area and through the Mariana Trench, and also scanning through the Pacific Ocean. Now, the Hawaii grids that have come up have been very much in relation to following the DC trip that I did last month. There's been a lot of links that have been going out through Hawaii with the trafficking rings. There've also been a lot of links into a call to like dig up the information about what's been going on with the Mariana Trench as well, which is the deepest trench in the ocean in the world. So that place, it was said that the Cthulhu entity resides. But when scanning and searching for this place, what we actually found were kind of underwater palaces. My dog's already seeing entities in the house. It's been doing that every time I go to sit down to do a meditation. He always starts barking at nothing in the room until you look through your other eyes, and then it tends to appear. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. And we can just come to look at the remote gridwork session here for Thursday, the 20th of July. So the disclaimer that I always state at the start, it's a personal responsibility for each of us to maintain our own energy when coming into alignment by doing group work with others. This means being aware of our own emotional vibrations, frequencies, and mental state of mind. We should only be bringing our best selves to the container of this safe space. And by doing so, we ensure the most cohesive and effective experience possible. Because even if one person is carrying unresolved issues, they can have a deep disruptive effect on others. So just to make sure that one's own energy is kind of intact. And if it does become too much, just take yourself out of the room, out of the container, seal up, and then until you feel okay again, just come back in. Yeah. And then within this as well, we'll also be doing some different clearing techniques. We're also going to be just calling up the shields of protection now, calling in Archangel Michael field to merge to the group field container. And activating the diamond relics, the diamond shield, the diamond breastplate, diamond boots, diamond capes, and diamond helmets to connect into each and every one involved. And we also have fear matrix program removals that we can kind of gift to different members of the group who can essentially speak when there's a heavy set of fear energy coming in. And this is just going to be stated here. So I'm just going to put this into the chat. So we've got a record of that. Okay. The next thing we'll have is the Guardian Key. And then we've also got the Starseed Sweep or the Indigo Sweep, which is essentially, we can use this as a tool for light language, as a tool for sound healing, just to cleanse and clear the space. So we've got one sound healer here tonight, which is David. Myself, who also speaks light language. Do we have any others who are present? We've got Nina. Lovely. We've got Anita. So yeah, maybe at the start, as we're going in, maybe we can start with a nice sound healing and light language from Nina and Anita together. That'll be really lovely to hear how the two harmonic interchanges come in and blend with the tones of David's music. let's give the fear matrix removal. Who wants to do the fear matrix removal? And raise your hands if you wish. Nia, there we go. Or Syra, yeah, perfect. So either of you two who want to do the fear matrix removal. So anytime we come into a space which is more heavy of fear, that's when we'll kind of install it. So I do actually have the plan to go into Hawaii first. I think, into the Pacific Ocean first. And I feel what we can do is just sort of source and locate. Let me find my map. Agora as mata push me mora, as we agora atia. Do this map instead. No, we won't. Let's do a different one. There we go. Okay. Weird. I'm not entirely sure why it's done that all the way over there when it should be there. Okay. So we're just gonna call into do the guardian sweep. I'm gonna give that guardian sweep to Rose. And you'll just state this intention after we do the meditation to begin with, and then drop in. I'll just give you a note. So we'll go meditation, sound healing, and then Rose with the guardian key. And we're going to drop into the Pacific Ocean. Just bear with me 1 second. My dog is destroying the kitchen. There we go.
I have to do. I've never been here before. I've never done this before.
Okay, so there is the guardian key, which is just in the chat now.
Yeah.
After we've done the meditation, then the sound healing, you can state the guardian key, which is when we stand in a pillar of 4, in a circle with the pillar of 4, the 4 pillars of man, sorry. We're going to use that as an entry point to open the Merkabic field, and then take that to land into the Pacific Ocean.
So yeah, just read it out.
Yeah.
Okay, you tell me when.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, no problem. Okay then, guys. So we just want to start by taking a few breaths. Connecting to the white dragons. As the white dragons open the landscapes, they begin to breathe in the white flame of purification. Washing your body with the flames. Taking it up through the vertical axis, out through the toroidal field. Crumbling any heavy grey fragmentation within the torus. And really working with the breath here as we start to draw up the charge from the crystal fire cores at the core of the earth. White diamond fire, sapphire fire, emerald fire, 3 flames intertwined, running up through the spine, running out of the head, and running into the DNA field. Ignition of the Seraphim Key Code Collectives Yakuras Matapohiatora Asanuta Yatarashnis Yakaras Matapohiakora Asiokora Anama Agiana Atiatara Osiana Akirashmasmea. Niagras Mataponia Mura Ana Agiam Yatna Ehia Gorasma Asiatana na Oyama Otapurishni Asuyotoras na Akiapora. Tembrasna Tiakuna na Auyam Yatna Ahakatashna Akiku Kokoriata Ayia Data Ayana Ayam. Expanding through the DNA field, recoding DNA, evolution of the pineal gland, crystal starlight, listening through the mind wave fields, extending into the dimensional fields, opening the perspectives to look through many lenses of the universal mind structure. Lifting pain, lifting anger out of the heart. Emerald rings of light. Expansion front to back. And updating through each of the chakras. Unlocking seal systems held through the heart, solar plexus and throat. Collective feminine dragon body, moving around the signatures. Light evolution through many layers of shape. Wing repair. As we raise the protections, update through the plutonic solids. Updating through all fields, updating through all localized grids. Light field recode. Face of the lion. Aligning to the fields, updating through the alchemy, bioalchemy, updating through the alchemical joins. As the guardian Anuhazi, oversee the mission today. I'm going to go ahead and hand over to David, Nina, and Anita to open the fields with sound healing and light language.
Sashaya Mohana Asian Kalaaya Ashia Sahaya Mohuena Kaalia Isaka Ashia Saaya Mohuena Kaaya Manaka Hishala Ayapuna Kaasia Shkasaya Ona Saala Ania Anaka Aya Mohuna Aya Mohula Ana Aya
Lovely, thank you so much. That was gorgeous. I saw all the guardians coming in there, and I saw all of the team's guides coming in. I saw the ancestors of Lemuria stepping forward, and the Ayani tribes. Okay, Gorasna Ataboyan, him Yama, Hiatrasna Asia, Kirashne, Siatra of Ayuno Otaboya. Yeah. Over to you, David.
Arribaeo, arribaeo, are, aeo, aeo. Time to awaken from eons of slumber. The thrill of life awakens in all ye sleeping atoms. Deep, deep, deep within the watery deeps, silent and crystal caverns awaken. Feel the joy of every atom felt. The ecstasy of every atom rises. O wise ones of the East, source of wisdom, stretch your hands across the skies, that all may rise, renewed, awakened. Arribaeo, arribaeo. Are, aeo. Are,
That was lovely. Thank you so much. That felt really good. A lot of spinal alignment there and correction. And who did we have for the guardian key? It was Rose, wasn't it? You ready?
When we stand in a circle with the 4 pillars of man, we stand in the truths of God's divine plan. We now stand as builders, architects, wisdom keepers, and truth seekers of the earth to open the gates of the land ready to be revealed. North, south, east, west, below and above. We now set the Merkaba at our feet as the key to open the gates of the land for restoration. What is truth will be our future, and we call that to us to be opened now. See each point of the Merkaba light up as we count. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Lovely. Thank you so much. That was amazing. Okay. And just seeing ourselves coming back in, or coming into a holographic dodecahedron, crystal iridescent, pale blue ship surrounded by 4 guardian dragons, encased in diamond, lifting up as we all enter into the space. Rising up through the Earth's atmosphere, looking down upon the Earth body, and entering into the sun. Spinning and oscillating through the solar fields and accessing directly into an emerald octahedron geometry that aligns within the center point of the Pacific Ocean. To the volcanoes of Hawaii. And it's within this space, as we access, we are greeted by the volcano guardians. Where we state our intention to run healing and clearing on the trafficking routes, to restore the earth body of any massacre, abuse, forced breeder program, disconnect our own energy infrastructure from within the Ayani massacre, and the connections into Nibiru. And to unlock any hidden history to resurface at this time. Permission granted. Gaining access to enter into the land space of Horas Mata Bohiadora. And we can just take a moment here just to pull on information regarding these islands. And we'll take about 5 to 10 minutes just to meditate on this, just to pull in a stem point of information that we can bring forwards within this. All right then, guys. Has everyone got their information?
No,
No. Right, who wants to go first?
I only got fleeting
That's okay.
images, but quite a pressure, a pineal inside, but just some images of an exodus,
Hmm.
rising water, and images of predominantly males organizing a whole variety of different sailing craft, and that's all I got. But I became aware of the structures that are no longer visible. They're under the water.
Mhm. Yeah.
The Bimini pathways and other edifices.
Yeah. Lovely.
And that but it was a change from a busy, an important location, and then in a short space of time, it had all gone. And I didn't get more than that.
No, that's great. It's all good information just to bring to the table anyway. So yeah, no, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. Yeah. Nina?
Mute.
Yeah.
Mine was, I've tried to write it down. First of all, I got water spirits.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like Jesus, you know, when he was parting the waters.
Mm.
And then it's like a never ending story. It's like never ending healing. Then there was like rips in the earth.
Wow.
And it was as if some beings were falling down. Then there was like the sun come out and souls were coming out. But then there was like a big dragon and he was like massive, waiting to collect. Going back to like Jesus parting the water, it was like Jesus at first, and then it was like I seen myself holding the space, and then it turned into all of us.
Mm.
And then I've put through like the cracks, like it actually looked like that map.
Mm.
Through the cracks, there was some cages and some, I don't know if I'm going off here, it's just some grotesque beings, but there was also children which were being taken out. The dragon was waiting for them to fly off.
Right, okay.
Just a couple more, well, 3 more, 4. Then I got timeline repair.
Mm-hmm.
Womb, the pain body of Mother Earth, assistance needed but quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
Period of time, plasma energy, and then the last thing before we come out it was as if it was connecting to the universe, it was connecting to the star systems. So what was going on underneath was going on above.
Absolutely. Oh my God, yeah, that's so accurate.
Right.
Yeah, fantastic. No, that's really great, Nina. Thank you so much. The sun being fallen down, I feel like that was a kind of fall from grace of man.
Right.
Yeah. It was, yeah, definitely fall from grace. I also feel as well, when you brought up the information about the timeline needs repairing, this is very accurate at the moment. This is something that I've been kind of looking at for a while. The cages underneath. So it's interesting because I got a transmission from the Guardians, the Volcano Guardians. They said the islands were connected and were part of the continent known as Lemuria. The furthest stem point into the Mariana Trench as part of this network, and through the tectonic plate shift and earthquake, this sunk the sacred Isle of Mu, leaving a treasure trove of history sunken beneath the landmass and water. This was held as underwater palaces, but later became hijacked as a harvest plant of sacred energy, which was used as a part of reversal technology and beast machinery to power anti-life architecture, holding space for things like tsunami kind of technologies through the central region. So this is kind of like where it's like charging a lot of their power from. And then the Mariana Trench architecture needs to be revived. The next thing they brought to me about the Hawaii grids, the Hawaii location, it was like I was told it's very, very important to look at the genocide of World War II. It was like the war, the destruction kind of things, because that actually ties back into the Iani massacre as a stem point through a continuation or cycle of destruction of races, of beings. And then that, like you mentioned about going off planet, connects into Nibiru, right? So it's the Nibiruian energy that seems to be coming up so much today. I've had it with like 3 clients already. Lots of history of Nibiru coming forwards today. And I was told 3 to 4 islands were involved within the Iani massacre, within the different, or the 3 to, it was as a whole back then, but as they separated through this kind of quaking and earth shift, it was the Kauai, Honolulu, Molokai, and the Isle of Hawaii. And then with Hawaii, I saw this big manta ray as well, which gave me eyes to see underneath and eyes to see on top. They actually have this 4-eye kind of vibe going on with them as well. So yeah, really, really wonderful information. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anita?
I didn't write it down, so I'm just hoping I can remember. So I saw like a vortex that was going but it was going anti-clockwise, spiraling, but it felt like some kind of portal bringing energy through. But that was stopped, and it stopped spinning, and then it was like cleared with energy coming down from above, water, and then it was like plasma and water kind of fluid coming down and clearing it. And then, can you hear me? Yeah, and then white light. So that was I'm trying to remember everything. That was the first part, and then I'm finding it hard to remember everything now. Yeah, that came through, and then there was an opening made, almost like plates moving apart, and then that was allowing water to come down from above, coming down, and then when that came down, that radiated out.
Yeah.
And then I was taken down underneath to like a bunker and through some tunnels. And there were like 3-4 doors on the right, doors on the left. And then I turned to the right, was taken through the tunnel. Then I came to a room which was circular. Then in the middle of the room was a large round kind of gate, but it had 3 locks in. So the energy that was coming up from the top was blocked. So then I was told to unlock the 3 locks. So I unlocked them. When I unlocked them, then the water was able to come through and then all the way down, and then it expanded out. And then I can't quite, I'm struggling to remember all the details because there was a lot of stuff happening, but I think those were the kind of the main points. Yeah.
Brilliant.
And I wanted to ask, when you say about the Iona massacre, what that is exactly, what that was.
So the Iani massacre happened during the end period of Lemuria.
Okay.
That's where the Atlanteans and I believe the Maldekians as well came in and sourced the women and put them into a forced breeder program.
Okay.
savagely killed all the males as well.
Because a couple of days ago I had a couple of sessions with light language, and I was taken to a place which was like a breeding program, which was to breed the life for a planet where they were leaving the planet, and it was to bring a new race in, and there was lots of galactic births. I don't know if it's related to this because it was just before I wasn't supposed to come today, then something happened and I was able to join, but I don't know if it's related to today's session.
It is both.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Like it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's great information. Thank you so much. Yeah, lovely. Syra?
Yeah, well, I went straight into the Ayani massacre,
Mhm.
kind of memories of that, because it resonates at a very personal level.
Mhm.
So I had to sort of get beneath the emotion of that.
Mhm.
And I connected into the Ayani groups that were on the earth, and it wasn't just, I mean, Kauai in particular was important because because of the Stargate site there. So that was an important point to anchor in the grid that we were working on, but there were other smaller groups scattered around
Mhm.
globe as well, and it was the linkages in anchoring what we were there to do, and we're chosen there as being the major site because it was the last of Mu, the last of Lemuria. The major part of the islands had sunk by then. And then I went back, I got taken back in that same timeline. It was important to be in that area because of what Lemuria itself was, and the the sacredness of what they held there, and the cities and the crystal temples and the like. And when they knew, they had warning because of what was happening. They had some warning that it was going to blow. And there was a scramble to actually try and salvage or hide at least some of the crystal temples and things like that. And I had this sense of things being like moved. Not everything was salvaged, but some things being moved, like almost like it was like between dimensions or Earth or inner Earth. So some things from Mu from Lemuria were salvaged, but not on this plane, as it were. And therefore, when the Ayani came back later on when we came back to do this grid, to put in the 4 Faces of Man grid, it was important to begin to anchor into these things. They're an important part of that. But the massacre that took place severely compromised some of that. What else was there? There was a lion as well, the lion. And I don't know if that's the white, there's a white lion grid, whether that came into it at some level. But yes, the whole play around what happened with the Lemuria, the sacredness of its temples, its crystal caverns, certain artifacts.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, I think it's interesting because at the very start, the white lion heads came in as the protectors, didn't they? Within the beginning meditation.
yeah.
It does feel in resonance there. That was really amazing information as well. Thank you so much. It's kind of helped open up a lot of the understanding of the history. So that's just amazing. It really is. I'd be interested to see where this 4 Phases of Man grid kind of sat, where the location points would be for that.
It runs it literally runs through the dimensions. And this is why Kauai is so important, because it's the activation site for the 12th Stargate, which itself links to Aramatena, which is, 12th dimensional. So it runs through all the dimensions. So it's anchoring through all dimensions, but it also anchors, let me get this right, it anchors into parallel Earth and to inner Earth as well.
Mm.
So it was an immense undertaking to, and it should have been activated at the last Stargate opening cycle, which is when the Ioni massacre happened. It was the intruder races came in to take all the Ioni out before it was it could be activated, because it runs 12th dimensional frequency. So the way to get the lower dimensional beings off the planet is to make it a frequency to run a frequency through the planet that our angelic DNA can resonate with, but the lower dimensional intruder races would find very uncomfortable. To the point of having to go. So it was a way of trying to short circuit the whole ongoing tiresome business of war and takeover and intrusion. But it didn't work because of the Ioni massacre. It's why the massacre and then the forced feeding programs that came out of it, and the enslavement, and the trading of human souls and human DNA came from that, came out of that. So it's interesting that it's that the Hawaiian Islands are a slavery route.
Yeah,
so like it started there. Yeah,
definitely.
All Faces of Mangrid never got activated, and it is activating now. With some of the stuff that I'm tuning into, it is activating now.
Brilliant.
Which is why a lot of the intruder grids are coming down and things like that, because as the frequency goes up, it's beginning to take out some of their AI and stuff like that just can't take the frequencies that are starting to be run.
Yeah.
That's my understanding. That's how it feels. That's my understanding at the moment of it as I've been tuning into it all.
Yeah, no, it definitely feels all accurate. It feels in resonance. So yeah, no, perfect. I do feel, before we go on to the next person, I do feel we should start within Honolulu today, though. And that would be the stem point of the World War II Pearl Harbor situation. And this is kind of like quite a heavy stem point for a lot of the trafficking movements as well, was coming through this island. So I think we could probably start here and then move through to Kauai, and then run up the vertex and then down through the, are we right next to Hawaii as well? I'm sure, let me just open my other map. Let me save this one first, otherwise it will go horribly wrong. I'm sure Hawaii is, right, around here somewhere. Right, there it is, okay. So it's not too far off, but still quite far off. Right. Okay. So does anybody else want to add anything to that, what they were seeing or intuiting within the meditation period? Can I get a hell yeah or oh yeah? Or a no? I'm going to say that's a no. But let's dive straight into Honolulu. We're just going to come into this access point here. where Pearl Harbor is kind of situated around here. And we just need to recalibrate and call back the energy and decompress files within this space. So does anybody want to open with some either light language or sound healing or tones? I'm looking to you, David. David? You're muted.
No, not at the moment.
No? Okay. Fair enough. Okay. So we're just going to go ahead and just start seeing a lot of magenta ray coming into this location, coming into the Pearl Harbor. Allowing memory sequences to resurface. Parafrequency passing through the body as it lifts to release, feeling the information rise. Electrostatic radio waves. Cross-contamination. And that is to confuse and disorient. So we lift and release the imprints of disorientation, releasing the confusion imprints. Okay, the next thing I'm feeling is like a lock seal system that's kind of locking down a lot of this information held within the architecture of the planet. So we unlock. 7, 3, 5, 2, 1. Code signature unlocking. Access to the vaults. And this is where I'm seeing like the movement of the young ones. Picking up on heavy Draco reptilian energy here. We just want to start lifting this energy out. And also the energy of Orion. Domination. It almost feels like a hostile takeover. Being flooded through these tunnel networks with gold and crystal iridescent light. Expanding into the mountains. Where it's within the mountains is where we're seeing the bases the intelligence breaches. This is where the frequency fields are kind of like stemming in and sending out scrambler sequencing. Okay, source angelic coming in. I'm seeing them building walls of white, iridescent architecture is where it had collapsed before. I'm seeing it being lifted up and erected. Basically rebuilding the structures, rebuilding the organic structure. Feels like it's tied into the organic blueprints of the earth. And this also stems back and connects into the Lemurian blueprints. And as the walls are resurrected, I'm seeing light signatures build and correct through the architecture. And then in turn, what I'm feeling within the own body as well is the body starting to illuminate, the spinal column running correction and bringing in alignment to the individuals. So as the architecture resurrects, almost like an amphitheater within the island of Honolulu, where soul entrapment is opening to release. Which we get to the next set of seals and density locks. Reviving the memory fields. Decompression of the memory. And each person has a story to tell, is what I'm hearing at the moment. And it's within this decompression of the memory, each person's perspective is being holographically placed through the geomantic architecture to be heard, to be seen, which we're then going to correct into the morphogenetic fields, and thus to be felt. So as this information starts to come forwards, we're then seeing the source light fields open and expand, pouring in light of the source light fields. Bridging unconditional love, support and healing. lifting tightness through the chest. And what I can also see is where the bombs were dropped, where the destruction was dropped, is rips and tears within the earth body. Aqui agora se mata depois me mora. And thus through the like the mental field of the earth as well, an emotional field. And the further I look into this as well, I'm seeing like rips and tears in like almost like black hole. Feels like rips and tears in the space-time continuum, but also within presenting as almost black hole stuff as well that's kind of connecting in. So we just want to send in the correction here, working with the Merkaba, the golden Merkaba, pale gold Merkaba. And feeling the devastation, lift, release, rise. And we're also going to take that pale gold Merkaba into the tunnels and into the bases, just to spin, clear, purify. Oscillating spin fields, light refraction, restoring the rainbow. Falling back our own essence. And as we extend out to Draco and Orion and Aquila, we unlock the personal history of our own participation within these networks through the movement of consciousness, the movement of our grail lines of galactic history, to where our own deviation took place, running corrections, sending in unconditional love, dissolving out frequency fencing, war templating, mind control. Unlocking the stargates of Draco, of Orion, of Aquila. Recode the DNA. Recode the stargates. Unlocking the trapped essence and unlocking soul entrapment from these gate systems. Source angelic, stepping forwards, moving through the angelic gates. Return to source. Breakdown of trafficking networks, intergalactic trafficking networks. Connecting back into your own bodies at the moment, where we just start to dismantle any technology within your own mental field and emotional fields. Any holographic sound inserts to manipulate the mind waves and the emotional bodies. Releasing, dissolving any holographic inserts of video sequencing to produce false imagery. Releasing, revoking, rescinding any oaths, vows, agreements, contracts and covenants tied to blocking out information. Dark covenants to prevent us from remembering. So we uphold the dark structures, releasing now. Calling back the essence, calling back the self. Cleanse, cleared, whole. Reintegrate. Breathe in. Devastation, release. Update through the blueprints. Update through the individual blueprints. Release out seal systems, lock and codes. Expand with the master keys. Source light. Moving in, illuminating the blueprint, expansion, repattern. Blue ray, an update through the tree of life, an update through the 144 structure. Neokorasnatapuhia saati torashmasimia korasnatapuhia nana alhia myatmahia tara alsia korasnaatia. And realignment, multidimensional alignment, cosmic rays of multidimensional light. Resource, repattern, and re-energize the structure as we work more in coherence with one another and with the self, both on an individual level and also a multidimensional level for your alignment. Does anybody else have anything they wish to add? No? Perfect. Okay. Let's draw this back. Oh, I've got a little smile from Zyra there. I love that. Brilliant. Okay. How was everyone's experience with that? Was it okay? Yeah. Good. It's quite painful, that was.
And we just call back some soul fragments from ourselves and also from our ancestors to connect to correct them. Ian, can I just ask Ian, is Ian there still? I just felt as if some ancestors, I heard there was a boat and it was coming out of the water, and I just felt as if it was something to do with Ian's genetic lineage somehow. So I don't know whether he's been in the Navy or had any contact, but I just
Possibly not. I personally not been in the Navy. I've done a fair bit. Well, I say a fair bit of sailing, but
right.
I felt more as an observer. I wasn't participating. It was, and in fact, it was quite difficult to get in because I can usually pick up moving imagery and a certain amount of sound, sometimes a touch, a feeling, but it was difficult with this, and I felt not that I was putting effort into it, but I felt a resistance, I'm not sure why, but
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I feel like this grid is quite heavily within your own history as well. That's why you're struggling to kind of gain access to a lot of the information, because it's still quite heavy in your field.
and I wonder that's why Floyd's come,
Yeah,
because that energy was, well, we use words like it's frustrating, I can't do it,
yeah,
or something there, and I think he picked up on that energy and he's come to comfort me.
oh, that's nice. That's really cute. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was quite a heavy one, to be honest, especially going into the galactic grids too, where we've kind of got to see the reversal within that, where we kind of stem from and how we've kind of been implemented into that to work out on this planet. So we've gone through the trauma on this planet that we've also kind of interplayed with off planet. And it's our job to kind of correct and sort out those kind of upholds on the other side. So yeah, definitely. It's quite extensive at the moment. I mean, even so far, it has been a bit tougher to actually gain access into higher frequencies at the moment, coming out of Syrian Gateway, going into Lionsgate. There's kind of a crossover in between of heaviness at the moment. Though the Lionsgate has started to kick in and it really is ramping up now. Yeah, it's one of those at the moment. Does anybody need a bathroom break or a tea break?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're about halfway through. We're in like an hour and a half in at the moment. I could do with a cup of tea after that.
You're
So I
coming
was
with me.
make my tea, and anyone else who needs the bathroom, we'll meet back in
Good boy. Good boy. There you go.
at 7:30.
You know, just going and standing in the overgrown bushes at the bottom of the garden with the
Mm.
overhanging branches and holding the wet leaves. It's cleared all that heaviness.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. I'm quite excited about going into this one now, into Kauai. I think it'll be good fun.
Felix,
Yes.
I think earlier on you were requesting me to read a piece out of text, but I couldn't see it on the screen, which is why I ended up reciting the scribblings that I'd made in between now and the previous meeting.
I requested a sound healing, I think, just in that last place.
It was before that when I played the instrument.
Oh no, that was lovely.
Pardon?
That was lovely. It was perfect.
Oh, right. No,
Yeah,
I
I don't know what you did, but it was magical. Yeah.
No, I thought earlier, right at the beginning, you'd scrolled through some texts that you were asking people to read out. And when you asked me to do something or make some sounds, I thought, you'd actually wanted me to read out one of those texts, but I couldn't see it on the screen.
No. It was whatever you did was perfect. It felt really, yeah.
Okay.
One of those magic moments where none of us know what we're doing, but it works out perfectly. Those are always the best kinds of moments, to be honest. So yeah.
So yeah, I often have those moments.
You and me both. Yeah, you just got to go with it, don't you?
Yeah.
I wrote a healing script as well, but I'm not sure if I was meant to use it then or.
Okay, that's good. Well, maybe you can bring it into this Kauai location.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds really good. So do we have everyone back now? I think we're just missing Jackie, aren't we? Jackie, Patiba.
Felix,
Yes, love.
I didn't get the email you shared at the beginning with all the prayers and invocations. Was that sent on an email?
I haven't sent it out, no.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I don't know how to send it. I've tried to send it to Ian, but it didn't seem to go through.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I will. I normally put it up on my website on the Gridworker tab.
Okay.
I don't think I have done recently. So, but it will be on there because I've sort of got like a plan that we kind of follow. And then don't follow the plan, basically. So it's like an outline that I don't always follow, basically. But the plans, like the prayers and stuff like that, will usually be done at the start. But yeah, I can send it over to you if you really want it. That's no worries.
Felix, can I just ask? Can I just ask, why did you choose Hawaii?
Hawaii. Where are you? Who's saying that? Is that David?
David, yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, I chose Hawaii. Well, Hawaii kind of came to us after working in DC. I was in Washington, DC last month, physically. And then this is one of the network places that kind of runs alongside it, which has kind of serious impact within that location. It's also a fractal or a fragment of Lemuria, which is the third root race of the world. And that was its own kind of continent within the Pacific Ocean. So here. That makes sense.
I'm new to all this. So.
Yeah, okay. No worries. I just I wasn't sure if I was kind of making sense with all of that, but yeah.
No,
So
yeah, sorry. I was only just going to say one thing for the people who were looking for the prayers that were at the front or the wordings that were at the front. You can, if you want, while it's in the chat, unless it's been taken out of the chat. No, they're still there. You can actually copy paste those and then just stick them on a Word document for yourself. I've just done that myself, so that you can actually highlight what's in each of those two text boxes and copy it, and then you can literally paste it onto a Word document, new document page for yourselves, so you'll have it.
I'll do is I'll just copy and paste the whole thing and put it in.
Yeah, and we can just highlight it and copy paste across then. That saves you trying to find a way to send it out otherwise.
Yeah, I didn't think we could access that, because I thought we were looking at Felix's screen. So
Yeah, at the bottom of the screen, you'll see the chat little square that's chat. If you double click on that, the chat box will come up and you can enlarge that then, which overrides Felix's screen on your screen, just in the temporary, and then you can close it down again and off you go. Yeah. Just means that you can put it onto a Word document and you've got it for your own reference then.
Yeah.
And it saves Felix the work. So.
Keeps on coming up with too many words. So maybe if I can save this as a PDF, save as, download as a PDF. That would have been a hell of a lot easier. Download. There you go, everyone. I didn't know you could do that.
Super techie, you just didn't know it.
Absolutely, yeah. Look at me. I know what I'm doing. Right. Yeah, lovely. Thank you for that. Okay, are we all ready to go into...
Sorry to come back to that, what we've just done there, Felix. Where can we find what it is you've just copied?
It's in the chat.
Right, okay, thanks.
Yeah, there's a document in a PDF document that I now know that I can do myself. That's not the email.
Yeah, we can just download that, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great, got it.
Okay. So let's take a short meditation time on the Isle of Kauai, sorry. And just each can bring up their own kind of information within this location, or any healings, any transcripts that they want to read out can also be done here too. So we'll just take maybe 5 to 7 minutes here. We can go on for a bit longer if needs be as well. So maybe like, let's do 10 minutes. Okay. How's everyone doing that? Doing pretty good. Yeah. Dean, do you want to go first with your clearing?
All right, yeah. I give thanks in advance as I set the intention for God's divine healing to come through me now. I see it as a violet flame of light coming down my own pillar of light, spreading through my entire body and blocking any stagnant energy as it flows deep into my cells and DNA it goes, preparing, updating all 12 codes. As I am one with the earth, I feel this purge and update through the entire grid network. Now restored and sealed, I release the violet flame. Together as one we remain.
Amazing. That's lovely. Thank you so much. Does anybody want to go next on what they're picking up within this place? Whether they've got any healing coming through?
Yeah, I thought it was. I was intrigued by the road that went around all the way around the edge, and the image came to me of a huge volcanic eruption from the center, and then strangely, all the volcanic material was actually sucked back into the core of it, into the earth. I don't know if that's an event like that's ever happened previously, and there became a great amount of fear about the center of the island. Then I got the curious image of, in the early 20th century, of this island being where the legend, if you will, of King Kong originated, from mariners, looking at the island from the sea, and getting a feeling of significant fear emanating from the center of the island. It held dark secrets.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely feel the dark secrets, that's for sure. I'm not too sure about the King Kong part, but I do love that. I think it's pretty great. It's definitely something to look into, because obviously these Lemuria actually held a lot of the giants and the Cyclopses there. So I mean, surprise me.
Yeah, I can see a link. I can see a link from from the King Kong thing to the giants.
Oh yeah, definitely. There really is something there with that. But yeah, no, perfect. Thank you so much. Who wants to go next?
We got a bit on. I think. Did the Stalin get like overtaken, or it's like they were trying to protect the region for the feminine side? The information was around the water of the feminine, from the masculine, from the other side of the world that was trying to get to it.
Yeah, definitely right there. If you heard Syra talk about the Ioni massacre earlier, I feel like that's what you're kind of connecting into, and that was through Lemuria, which this part here is a fragment of the original island. So yeah, definitely. Lovely. Anita?
Yeah, so I saw kind of sorry, one sec. Yeah, no, I saw that it was kind of like children in a circle, and they were like multiplying. So that it was like breeding, like lots of children in being kind of bred to increase population. But it was like that they were like robotic, almost like they were mind controlled in some way. And then I saw like a thunderbolt of lightning coming through the middle and disbanding them. And there were like grey mountains acting as barriers around the island. And then it felt like there was some kind of vibrational force field plate technology that was sending out shock waves from the center to create a particular frequency. And I don't know whether this might be to do with like the kind of weather manipulation or tsunami. And then under the core, there was a crystal bed, which was amplifying the effect of the force field. And the sky was kind of purple in that area, and there's a kind of a dragon guardian on the island, and any kind of ships coming to there are kind of lost, and the crew is lost. And then underneath the ashen landscape, there's this kind of fertile, lush land that wants to come out. And there was a spotlight there where some children were taken off the island by spacecraft. And there were different species of galactic beings intermingling, almost like a landing port or hub as well.
Perfect. That's amazing. Thank you so much. That's really, really great information. And yeah, I feel resonance with the bulk of that as well. That's really great. Thank you. Jodie?
So interesting, like Nita was saying, because children, that's what I got really distinctly, like, but jammed into a tunnel, and it wasn't far above them, and it was and at the end of the tunnel was another tunnel, but it barred, and water coming in, and you know, they were zombies, even though they had to rise with the water to breathe. They were quite okay with it and trying to get out. So I was there helping them getting out. And when they were out, it was like a war shelter, you know. They felt safe-ish because they had more space than they'd ever had. And they were kind of, not mongoloid, but there were various forms of there was deformity within amongst them as well.
Yeah.
And they were, what was really important to them, or not necessarily them, but people that were there, what was really important was that their memories were going to be documented. It was really important to get their information passed on and be heard. That was really evident. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lovely. Thank you. Syra?
I found a lot of resistance initially. It was almost like I was being pushed back, and there was dark miasm over the whole island, and it was energetically trying to sort of keep you away from penetrating it. You know, sticking with it, I then kind of came to this dome, this great opaque dome down beneath the landmass. And again, that didn't feel like it was going to let me penetrate, but suddenly it's almost like it read the codes, and it suddenly let me through into it. And it's like somebody sort of said it, it's like there are these seeds waiting beneath all of this gunk and all of this mess, corruption that needs clearing, but these seeds being held somewhere deep within it of just such beauty.
Right. Yeah.
Such beauty. It just and it the words healing the timeline. Somebody spoke about that earlier, I think. Healing the timelines, and it feels so imminent. It felt really imminent, like for the first time in thousands of years, the potential for these seeds to begin to sprout is just waiting there beneath the surface.
Yeah.
It just needs to, it just felt amazing. It felt amazing having had such difficulty getting to it. Yeah.
What I would say to the difficulties when you get to it, whenever you're matched with resistance when going into the grids, you can kind of pull yourself out into a different perspective, into a higher perspective. Say view through the eyes of the avatar rather than view through the eyes of the sixth dimensional field. You want to be bringing yourself up and out to kind of cut through all of these layers that are kind of running through. There's these frequency fences, the miasma, all of these kind of trauma things, because it's only there to tell you what is kind of sat through the field in that point. So that's a really, really good technique. And I really kind of understood that when I did the remote view on Australia with Indigo Angel. I think it was in May. That was really a powerful, might have been April actually, a powerful understanding of how we can kind of traverse these kind of grid hijacks, just to pull yourself out, recognize identify what it is and how it's making you feel, and then realize if you're like that when you're looking in, that it doesn't actually have to affect you, because you can pull yourself out and look from a different perspective. So yeah, that's what I'd kind of say to that. But yeah, lovely work. Thank you. Nina?
Well, I found it difficult at first to get into it. And then I started to write a message. It said, through the oneness of one's heart, I grant permission to enter into this sacred space. Unity and wholeness are to be integrated into this land to remove the stagnant energy from the depths of this space. The nectar of love from the veins of the earth are ready to be awakened to dissolve the fear from the fractures of time, from the creator of love and from the time of peace. Then I got lots of stillness and lots of peace. And before I was getting like a Morse code on the last one we cleared, and I got it again. It's like a sonic tone constantly.
Hi.
And then I got the words, we thank you all for your patience and time for the preparation of this operation. Then I got nothing, just the Morse code. And then I was told that there's a blanket of fear needs to be released, whether we've done that, because we came back. But there was a blanket of fear, but it was quite peaceful.
Amazing. Yeah, no, thank you so much. That was so beautiful, Nina. I just loved that. It was really perfect to actually hear those words as well, because I feel like that's opened a bit of a gate system to gain more access to the information of that kind of island body, which we'll go into very soon. So thank you so much. David?
I don't know if this is part of my healing, but the reason I asked about Hawaii is last autumn I listened to an awful lot of other people talking about Hawaii, and it was their perception, and therefore my perception, that Hawaii was going to be blown up. And so I'm quite pleased to see it here. So I don't know what dimension I was on then, but it was quite a dark place. So that's why I just had to get it out of my system. I could have just sat here quietly. But, there was and it would cause a tsunami to the west coast of the US, and there was the whole thing. I got pulled into all of that.
Yeah, so what it would be a case to really work into dissolving your fear matrix, a fear matrix program removal, and really understand how and why you're getting pulled into these groups of fear-mongering people. That would be like the kind of storylines. If we're not using discernment into what is truth, if it becomes ungrounded and grandiose, then we need to kind of start checking in and realizing, oh, actually, do you know what? That doesn't really align to my heart resonance. So you know that it's just not true. So yeah, it's just attunement to your own inner guidance, really. So yeah, thank you. Teresa?
I couldn't get in for anything. I was totally blank, whereas I got bits and pieces the first one, but I was totally blank for this one for a long, long time. And then I just got this overwhelming sense of it needs love poured in. That was all that came up, was just the answer to this is love. It needs love poured in.
Yeah.
So that was all that came up for me.
Perfect. You know, absolutely right there. So does anybody else have anything they want to add to this before I kind of jump in on my transmission?
Yeah, I think, I don't know if it's right, but I've heard that Lemuria, as we go into the golden age, Aquarius age is coming back. I'm not sure if that's like the land around it as well, where Hawaii is, or the idea of it, because it used to be a 5-dimensional consciousness, didn't it? When we were the light body.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely coming back around. Lemuria was the 5th dimensional consciousness, and it was the within 5th dimensional Earth, which is where we're kind of going back to. So when it was Lemuria, it then slipped into Atlantean periods and then to where we are now, and now we're kind of bypassing that fourth dimensional field and going straight into the fifth with all the healing and integrative work that we're doing. And that in turn will shift the holographic density of the planet as well. So yeah, it is kind of going that way, but also the continents kind of shift and move as well. So like the energy of Lemuria is now presenting through Russia, funnily enough, and Atlantis presenting through the United States. But I think that's with kind of caveats, actually, to be honest. So I'm not going to take that as a whole, that it will be something that I'd need to dive into to really understand a little bit deeper. So yeah. But in my vision for this, as soon as we started to connect into the land, I saw Mother Earth's head coming out of the island. And then I just saw it being bound and gagged as she was weeping, with the invaders coming in to seize the land. Then I heard 12-point platinum star unfolds, vibrational hums as tones elate, connection of the vertical pillar into heavenly domain, kingdom of heaven. 4 faces of man expands and aligns as interlaid grid mesh frequency fencing dissolves. Radial discs spin in 3 as 3 worlds collide in alignment of truth, corrections to the body of man. Memory fields resurface and correct in natural alignment and run through the horizontal axis Earth development. 4 faces of man elate tonal harmonic shifting through infrastructure as density fields integrate the connection, building back loop, feedback loop systems layer by layer, illumination of the quadrant. Base field architecture updates access points to the 3 worlds as the alignment opens sequencing to restore the light luminescence. Right, so this was the activation of the 4 faces of man grid. It was the activation of the Stargate, and it also opened up, I'm getting goosebumps all over my body now. It opened up through the full 12 radial discs or radial spheres of the Earth body, and thus in turn through each individual's involved. And then seeing the 12 strands of DNA illuminate and light up, the Sephiroth 12 Sephiroth tree of life illuminate with the full spheres elated and expanding. And then within this, it unleashed all of the memory that was kind of held about this grid infrastructure. It was an opening and an unlocking of the grid. I do feel we need to run a calibration here as well. As the Stargate is kind of opened within this space, and I'm really feeling a lot of energy move through the body right now. So does anybody have anything they want to add before we jump into a calibration of this space? No? Lovely, okay. So let's start seeing the platinum tone build through the body of the planet, build through the island of Kauai. And as the light of platinum runs through the body of the planet, it's almost setting up holographic architecture all around me, the blueprints of the planet, which is presenting information of historical memories, connecting to the morphogenetic fields, allowing the sentience to rise of information. Invader races stepping forwards here. And then I'm seeing the pole shift. as the memory. I can feel the fear, I can feel the tremors of the earth. And it's the intrusion kind of energetic that's really quite eerie. The 4 dragons stepping forwards. As we start to lift, I'm seeing them stand around the island, but also breathing the flames in, drawing up the invasion. And it's almost creating a containment field to seclude the invader races within that field. And at the same time, seeing the bodies of the dragon restore in full tone color spectrums. Rebuilding the bodies. And then this is bringing forwards the scenes of the massacre of the males. Genocide and bloodshed. Coming to the surface. Sending in divine source light and unconditional love. Slowing down time. And collecting the souls. Very painful here, deep heart pain. Angelic gates opening, extension to the kingdom of heaven. Soul retrieval. Deep grief and devastation. the mourning of the people. Geometric spectrums aligned to the body. As it opens up the earth body. Repairing the grid. Unbinding the females. Releasing the shackles. And there's something between like the earth body and off planet to Nibiru is what I'm seeing as a kind of like a kind of trauma grid migration that's passing between the earth body and also the planet, which we need to kind of work in a repair here as well. So immediately I'm seeing golden light coming in from the source light fields and breaking down this enslavement migration grid. Running to break down all of that layer of trauma, enslavement. I'm now seeing the 4 phases of man grid extend up and out into the 7th layer of the planetary body, the collective logos. Into the violet ray. And then expand through each and every layer. As we connect up into the Nibiru grid, the Nibiru planet, where I'm seeing this huge white, platinum, pale gold sphere merge to the planet. And each layer of this sphere begins to spin in a different rotation, unlocking the information, unlocking the soul entrapment. Correcting spin fields. Extracting memories. and one's own participation within this, be it positive, be it negative, be it both. Just an experience to collapse. Releasing anger. Rage, wrath. Deep heart pain. Fields reordering, information expanding and opening, decompressing files, opening through the universal blueprint, through the galactic blueprint, and through the Earth blueprint. We unlock the density locks, seal systems, and on the individual level. Unlocking density locks and seal systems, decompressing memory, accessing into the vault 78351. Releasing reversal architecture and reversals to the tree of life. Releasing, revoking, rescinding any oaths, vows, agreements, contracts, covenants tied into upholding any dark structures, upholding any memory blackouts to block us from recalling the information, and blocking it from the collective from seeing. Releasing any oaths, vows, agreements, contracts, covenants tied into any deception, any profiteering from the enslavement. Understanding the history to understand why we're here at the moment, to correct the planetary body. Really deep heart pain here. This is all coming through the back side of the body. Allowing the despair, the grief, the guilt, the devastation to up and release. Full chakra cleanse, full chakra clearing. Releasing soul entrapment and calling back your soul essence held within these grids, dismantling the grids and dismantling the code infrastructure of the kind of trafficking network here. And that's coming in crystal pink iridescent white light. Washing through the history, washing through the timelines, updating through all fields, updating through all localized grids. Expansion through the earth body and into the cellular genome. Update to the subatomic, the atomic ranges, the mitochondrial ranges. Releasing the shackles from your own wrists, your own neck. Golden fountains arise through the Stargate, through the 12 points, the 12-pointed star, into the kingdom of heaven and expanding across all layers of the horizontal aspect. Decompression of trauma. Take a deep breath in. Lift and release. Reintegrate soul fragmentation. And coming back into your essence here. Coming back into your bodies. We're going to retreat now. Closing up the grids, closing up our fields, back into the dodecahedron. With the blue etheric dragons dissolving the footprints that we have walked through the astral plane, through the etheric fields today. Updating the prophecies, updating the blueprints of the earth, the individual, the galactic, harmonizing through all worlds. And coming back into the essence, purify the tree of life. And seal forward through all levels or layers of light, sealing forward through the breath of the divine I am presence. Thank you all so much for coming back today. That was great. Does anyone have anything they want to add or share or say? It's your call.
Thanks you for that. Appreciate that.
Very welcome.
Yes, I ditto. Thank you very much, Felix, and everybody.
Yes, thank you, Felix.
Very welcome. No problem.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Felt like a massive healing.
Yeah, it did today, didn't it? It felt like a lot. I'm just seeing like an update now, and it's like a rebuilding of the body. Do you want me to hold it? Yeah, so it feels really good. I would say if you can take a nice hot bath and allow yourself to stew like a dumpling in a that's exactly what I'm going to do, and just particularly focusing on the back of the heart here, because that was quite an intense one, and just monitor how your body shifts and changes over the course of the month from this one, particularly that around the stomach area, as we reclaim all of our lost power and release out any struggles that are within that as well. Because that was a very, very strong power grab that happened back then, which literally tilted the pole shift way back when. So yeah. Okay, guys. I'm going to do the next one the last week of, either the last week or the second week of August, because I'm going to be in Wales for a week with my family. The third week. So yeah. But I'll be arranging about. I'm also going to be doing a Lionsgate event on the 8th as well. I believe I'm going to be doing that with Indigo Angel. It's going to be a joint one together, which will run for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and that will be on the 8th. I'm going to try and get things finalized with her as soon as possible, and it'll be a lot of fun. So yeah. Anyway, guys, have a great evening. Thank you so much for joining today, and sending loads of love. Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.